all organizations, work activities can be placed into one of two different categories: those that add value and those that do not. To make things easy, we will refer to activities that do add value as value added work. There are two different types of activities that are non-value added. Activities that are necessary but do not add value are referred to as business necessary work, while other activities that add no value at all are simply called non-value adding work. So, what is value added work? Value added work is the actual work that a customer is willing to pay for. These activities transform a product or service from one condition to another. They are also done right the first time, and somebody is willing to pay for the activity. Let's look at an example of value-added work. Here we can see an individual working on their computer. In this case, they are filling out a form. Assuming it is the first entry and they do it correctly, this would be an example of value-added work. Each time they insert information, they are transforming the information and moving closer to the end goal. Likewise, here we see a raw material being machined. Assuming this has had demand associated with it, we can see that transformation is in fact occurring. With every cut, the raw material transforms closer to the end item. This is value-added work. Now let's answer the question, what is business necessary work? This type of work activity does not meet the criteria of value-added work, but is necessary to either protect the company or comply with regulatory requirements. Because of this activity must be performed. With that in mind, business necessary work is still considered wasteful and should be reduced or eliminated if possible. As an aside, the word necessary is often subjective or based on the opinion of different parties. It can sometimes be helpful to first establish consensus as to how the word necessary is defined. One of the most common examples of business necessary work is inspection. Inspection is necessary because we need our products and information to work. However, it oftentimes is not considered value-added work for a few different reasons. One may be that if something needs to be corrected, that would also mean it was not done correctly the first time. Another reason is that if something does not need to be corrected, no transformation occurs because the item was already in a correct state. With that said, inspection is a checkpoint and only confirms that something is correct, which may at times be considered necessary. Now, let's look at non-value adding work. Non-value added activities are activities that add no value at all. These activities do not transform anything, nobody is willing to pay for the activity, or they are not performed correctly the first time through. Non-value added activities often take up more than 85% of the value stream in your organization. With 85% of your value streams consumed by non-value, it becomes much easier to understand why organizations want to remove non-value and reduce business necessary activities. The most common forms of non-value are the 8 forms of MUDA: transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction, defects, and underutilized skills. Whenever you look for non-value, you must look for activities that do not cause transformation, and then discern, was this business necessary or was this completely non-value? Now let's establish a simple way for you to discern what activities add value and which activities do not. Here are 3 simple questions you can use to help point you in the right direction. If I were the customer, would I pay for this? Does transformation occur? Was the activity performed correctly the first time? And was the activity necessary? In general, if all the questions above are answered with a yes, they are more than likely a value-adding activity. If any or all of the first three questions are a no and the fourth question is a yes, the activity is a business necessary activity. If all the questions are answered with a no, you can be certain that the activity is in fact a non-value adding activity. These 4 questions are a great starting point for you to begin training your mind to really identify waste. With that said, let's move on to the next lecture where we will learn even more.